On the hook for Twitter questions. Since its debut last year, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim has become nothing short of a cultural phenomenon. We were so proud to introduce this game to the world at the VGAs 2 years ago. It was a huge success, and naturally fans have been wondering what could possibly be next. Well, here with answers is Bethesda's game director, Todd Howard. Fresh off the plane. Have you even been to E3 yet, Todd?
I have. It's as crazy as always.
Is it? Well, thank you for coming by to our little section of E3 here to show off some Dawnguard, which fans have been waiting to see. You put out a little trailer last week that teased it out. But before we get to the footage, why don't you sort of set up what your strategy was for the DLC? Because people know from Fallout you guys did different DLCs. I mean, this feels like you're being very focused on sort of one major DLC here to start, right?
Yeah, with the previous games, we've done a lot of different DLC with price points, and we think a lot about what does the audience want, particularly from a game like Skyrim, where it's already so big.
Right.
And the popularity of the game took us by, how popular it is, took us by surprise. So we decided to support the game with a lot of free stuff. The creation kit on the PC, the Steam Workshop's been really popular. And we knew that we didn't want to just put a lot of stuff out or put things out really, really early. Like, let's focus, do something that has a lot of meat on it, that feels more like an expansion pack that you used to get from us.
We missed the expansion packs.
And with DLC, it is to try to give you a new experience. And with this, it is becoming a vampire lord or becoming one of the Dawnguard and hunting vampires, something we felt that was kind of like a character archetype or an experience that you didn't have in regular Skyrim, as opposed to just here's 20 more dungeons, which I don't think would have been, wouldn't have added to the game in the way that we.
No, I love what you're doing. It's like figuring out some interesting fiction to push on it, and the trailer last week was great. Now let's get to the exclusive gameplay here. First time you guys are kind of showing off a sequence from the game. Why don't you set it up for us here about what we're going to see here?
I guess right now you were just looking at the trailer.
Now we're getting the new
what
stuff,
you're going to see here is a bunch of sections of joining the Dawnguard in their fortress. And in this, there are two fortresses you can make your own and kind of trick out. And so when you start out, you learn of the Dawnguard and you join them, but then you also learn of the vampires and the vampire lords. So you do have this choice of which side you're going to join. And with the Dawnguard, you do get to use crossbows.
Much requested.
Yes, much requested for a long time. And they're great weapons to have in the game because they do a lot of damage. They fire instantly but take a long time to reload. And they work well in our existing system because they go into your archery skill. So they do use that skill and the perks you already have. So it did allow us to do some new gameplay while also using things that your character already had.
Interesting. So, fictionally, where is this sort of set DLC? I mean, tell me about sort of the experience compared to the Skyrim world, obviously.
It kind of fits right in. That's how we like to do the DLC. So even after you buy it, the only negative is it doesn't come out and say, there's new content. It kind of just fits in smoothly like any other faction. So you can hear about them, but it's still up to you to go find them. And the content is designed to kind of be level 10 and higher. So it does get harder than the stuff that we did in the main game.
Of course,
and it's a lot of content. We're looking at 10 to 20 hours.
As if we didn't have enough hours already.
Yeah, and
people want more. They have insatiable appetite for this stuff.
Yeah, we make the stuff extra big. It's just how it ends up. We have a lot of great guys making a lot of great stuff, and we want to get it in front of people.
Right. Now, as we play through this, are there what else are we going to experience that's new or different? Obviously, than you talked about the crossbow. Obviously, a new story. But I mean, is there any other?
When you're the vampire lord, you can see some of that here. There's a lot of good melee attacks you can do. You have your own perk tree, so as you kill people as a vampire, you can turn into bats. You see that there, kind of dodge attacks. You can grab people with this vampiric grip and levitate them in the air. And as you play as the vampire lord and kill people as the vampire lord, you unlock this perk tree. You can kind of pick new powers.
I love this. This is amazing footage.
And you can summon gargoyles that you see here.
Who would not pick this, right?
Well, some people, this really does feel like a new experience when you're playing as him. It feels like...
That's what I feel like, it feels like a new game.
But a lot of people don't want to play that archetype. They don't want to be evil, and you can kind of, in this, try to stop the vampires by playing the Dawnguard side.
Wow,
there you see some of the vampiric grip and throwing guys around.
This is amazing. I mean, let me
There's
ask
some of the perk tree.
Okay, the perk tree for him. Wow. Yeah, let's keep looking at that. That's awesome. So as you guys worked through this, was it clear from the get-go that this is what you wanted to do for the DLC? I mean, tell me, was this decided after you saw fan reaction, or how did you plan it out?
It's just kind of, we get this inertia amongst the team. So we did this game jam thing that some people have seen, and a lot of us were talking, hey, we never did enough with vampires. We could do so much more on paying off on the fantasy people have of being a vampire or a vampire hunter. But this isn't the only DLC we're doing. We are working on other stuff that's going to be talked about later, and the price points on those, they're not all going to be $20. They're all going to be the same. So we just kind of do what we think is appropriate. This is the Soul Cairn. This is this large area of Oblivion where necromancers bring soul from.
I mean, it just feels, what I love about it is it feels so fresh, too. For people who have already explored the world, but it's like this feels like a
I'm happy to hear that. That's what we were really going for, that you feel like it's Skyrim, but it feels like something new. And
the internet, I think, just exploded. That's awesome. So you guys have obviously been working behind the scenes on this for a while. And to add all this new gameplay in is, I mean, in some ways, it's really two experiences you're delivering, right?
And it's almost like putting out an entire new game for us in some ways, because you're looking at 10 and 20 hours of content.
Right.
And we spent, Skyrim came out 7 months ago.
Yeah.
So it is a pretty big undertaking for a lot of the guys in the team. And our fans have been fabulous, and we just want to reward them with cool content.
Now, they're probably going to want werewolves as well, right?
We already have werewolves in the game, so there are
a couple. We're going to see some here?
There's going to be some new werewolf stuff in this, but we're going to keep that under wraps for now.
All right. See, look at me always picking at you, right?
You're good at that. You'll just guess things till I say yes. That's how.
All right. Well, you hinted. So the internet. That's enough for the internet, Todd. If you were on Twitter, right?
If I was.
If you were on Twitter. Now, Justine, do we have questions for it? Are we going to allow Todd, the man who doesn't have a Twitter account, to get some questions from the internet?
Oh,
this is the best way to do it, I suppose.
Do we have Twitter questions? Of course. There's actually, this one is probably my favorite, so I'm hoping that you'll agree to this. Are the rumors online about the new shouts true? Can you give us at home an example? So they want you to shout.
They want me to shout?
They want you to
shout.
I
don't do that.
He's never done that. I asked him all last year. Never got a fooster with that.
There are some new shouts in the DLC. My favorite one is called the Soul Tear, which allows you to shout at somebody, suck their soul out that comes to you, and then they become an undead minion of yours. Pretty badass.
Enslavement. We're not bad with that. All right.
Sounds pretty painful. All right, we have another one here. Most recently, you've given PC gamers the ability to mod Skyrim. Any ideas from that make it into Dawnguard?
From user mods? Not that many. It was another big undertaking to do the creation kit, and like our perfect world, we can bring the creation kit and all those mods to the consoles, but just something hasn't worked out yet.
Right. Is that something you're active? I mean, I know there's a lot of challenges with the console
I don't know that
companies.
I define it active. There are a lot of challenges there.
Right,
one day...
Would you take a kit of them and put that out as a DLC or something? Or
that gets tricky because we don't want to be the one sort of publishing or picking or casting judgment on the users are pretty good at doing that themselves.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's an area of gaming, particularly in the PC, that we love, that we'd like to open up to everybody.
Oh, it's absolutely exploded. It's amazing what people have done creatively. Justine, anything else on the Twitter world?
We do have one more.
Yeah.
They said, I heard there was a surgery minigame cut from Fallout 3. Is there anything like that in Dawnguard?
Wow.
Anything we cut?
Cut.
Or hers.
Sure, I'm not going to talk about that right now.
Or the surgery minigame. There's surgery somehow in Dawnguard?
There's not a surgery
Vampire
minigame
surgery?
in Dawnguard. We cut the surgery minigame from all our games.
Okay.
Yes.
Cut from Skyrim as well?
Yes, we cut it from that.
All right, could come back. It could come back in DLC,
right?
The surgery DLC? Right there, exactly. Well, it's amazing what you guys are doing with this. So you've said it's coming sometime this summer, is basically what you're saying? Or?
Actually, the beta starts next week. So
next
it's
week,
pretty much done. We're going to do a public beta test, something that's gone well for us in the PC.
Right.
And if that goes well, all looks good. It's going to come out June 26th.
And how, I know people were talking online about this the other day. Is there any chance for anyone watching this to get in on the beta, or how can you get
They can sign up now. I will tell you that the response has been incredible.
Yes.
So you can sign up now for the beta, and we're going to start sending codes out next week.
We should give some away on Twitter here, something like that, right? The first person to tweet what, Todd, gets access.
I don't know.
All right, he's not going to go
I'll
there.
let you decide that.
All right, well, first person to tweet your correct birthday or something, right? We'll track it. All right, Todd. Well, thank you, Todd, for a first look at Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Dawnguard. We will look forward to seeing that this summer in the beta test coming up. We've got a lot more coming up, especially talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Activision entered E3 on a huge wave of anticipation, and leading the way for Activision